Hello. In this section, I'll talk about managing money, specifically in Eswatini. Your team is responsible for planning and managing budgets and expenses. More extensive information is available in the fundraising course on Bridge EDU. There are, however, a few options for managing money in country, depending on what you intend to use it for, and these are all discussed below. Local currency. You can use the South African Rand notes, although not the coins, in Eswatini. Most Swazi ATMs will give you only the Swazi currency, Emalangeni. Emalangeni cannot be spent in South Africa. They are, however, directly linked and should have the same exchange rate. You cannot use foreign currencies at all in Eswatini or South Africa. Feel free to exchange currency in any way you please, but we found that the most cost-effective way to get local currency is to take it out via an ATM. Using an ATM will usually give you the best exchange rate, especially compared to exchanging other currencies, such as dollars. Note that you only want to withdraw cash with debit cards, typically, as a credit card will take a high percentage of the amount you withdraw. Check with your bank and ensure multiple team members have the ability to withdraw cash and use credit cards internationally before you leave. You will likely need to put a travel notice on your cards with the bank. You can take out money in Johannesburg upon arrival. If you're going to withdraw or exchange money in the Johannesburg airport, we recommend only changing a minimum amount to get you by. You can take out cash at any of the ATMs in Mbambe. This is much safer for larger withdrawals than doing so in Johannesburg, although OR Tambo is typically safe. As always, when traveling, be alert and safe whenever you withdraw cash. Be aware of ATM withdrawals in South Africa. A few things can happen. A person watching you withdraw money from afar follows you to take it. Look around for any conspicuous person watching the ATM. Or B, people place a device in the card reader to copy your details. Watch if the person in front of you has completed a transaction and taken or deposited money, or simply used the ATM and stepped to the side. Best practice is to use the ATM at bank locations or locations where they have a security guarding the ATM. Also, avoid pulling out money on the street in touristy areas. During the project, you want to make sure you have a decent amount of cash in local currency. In cities, you can use cards for larger purchases, and in most shops, but some shops will have a minimum spending amount to use cards. In the rural areas and for all public transport, you will need to have cash. Regarding receipts, always keep all receipts. In both Bolivia and Eswatini, a receipt will be provided for all cash transactions. And if it's not, it is helpful to keep your own ledger of money spent. This will be important if your university is reimbursing you, your sponsors want to know where the money went to, etc. Usually can buy a small receipt book for less than $1. For medical bills, if you incur any medical bills in country, no matter how small, make sure to save your receipts. Any payment and insurance claim requires good, detailed documentation. Make sure everything is documented very well. When did the symptoms start? Did anything in specific cause the injury or sickness? Was any treatment attempted beforehand? Times and dates of developing symptoms, changing conditions. If this is done properly, it can speed up the reimbursement from your insurance company, or even make and break the reimbursement itself. If you take an ambulance, many insurance providers will require a doctor's note from the first medical practitioner you see justifying the need for an ambulance. Expect that you will have to pay your medical bills up front, either with credit or debit card, or in cash. Most foreign medical providers will not directly process your insurance claims. Now for local customs, research local customs for monetary transactions. But for example, tipping is less common than in the US, and usually around 5 to 10%. Most tourist and service-based industries do expect tipping though, and it's not uncommon to be stopped and asked for money on the street, as there is perception that foreigners have more money. Feel free to turn down such queries, but always be kind. Asking for money is not as taboo in other cultures as it can be in the US. Make sure to agree upon a fare before you enter a taxi as well. And generally, it's important that at least one person in your group has a significant amount of cash on them for medical and general emergencies. The last thing you want to be thinking about if you get sick is how, when, or where to get some cash.